It's been called the worst road in Britain, but today new anti-congestion patrols started on the A12 in Essex. The first scheme of its kind in the UK, it's operated by the police and funded by the County Council.
These slip roads up here are the worst ones, aren't they?
Alex Southgate and Alan Barlow are two of 18 new patrol officers in Essex. Their job for the next 2 years is to make sure the A12 is safer and less congested.
It gets terrible. Most people who live in East Anglia will have used the A12 at some point in the peak times and will have seen how slow it can get.
The A12 patrols will operate every day from 6 in the morning till midnight from the M25 to the Suffolk border. It's an addition to the normal traffic police. In 2007, there were 842 accidents on the A12 in Essex, and most lead to serious delays.
The A12 is one of the worst roads in the whole country. It's an artery through Essex. People need it for work, for leisure, for children at school, hospitals, etc. And it's totally intolerable, the amount of delay, the amount of congestion, the amount of stoppages on the A12.
The new patrols will be able to get to accidents more quickly and even tow vehicles out of the way to clear the road. After an incident, queues can back up at the rate of a mile a minute.
The idea being not only enforcement, that is a key part of what we do, but also about helping to reduce the number of incidents on the road, and when they do happen, to try and reduce the congestion that results from those incidents.
The patrols will cost £1.5 million and last for 2 years. If they reduce congestion, the scheme could be extended. Ian Barmer, BBC Look East, Essex.
The football transfer window has just closed and the Trinidad and Tobago international Carlos Edwards has signed for Ipswich Town. He's among 2 last-minute signings by Town from Premiership Sunderland, Ipswich manager Roy Keane's old club. The other is Grant Leadbitter. 5 firms have been shortlisted to redesign Southend Pier. The pier head has been badly damaged by fires over the years. The most recent was in 2005. The local council is holding a competition for a new design. The project will cost £5 million. The winning entry is expected to be announced next month.
Now, some of you will be watching us tonight with an eye on a new car outside and, of course, the new number plate. Some of you may even have splashed out on a brand new Lotus Evora. But unlike its predecessor, this one has been made with the family in mind.
It goes from 0 to 60 in just 4.9 seconds. It has a top speed of 162 miles per hour. This is the Lotus Evora. And today, the first customer took delivery of his brand new sports car.
It's just a bit more of a grown-up version of the Lotus car that I had before, so obviously a bit more upmarket and more comfortable.
Is it going to be a bit of a family car then?
Well, if I can squeeze them in, then yes, I think so. Just, family journeys planned.
And this is what Lotus have in mind. This car is for you and your children.
And in terms of the product itself, it's the only car in the market that's actually a 2+2 mid-engine sports car. It will take most size people, 6'6" people will go in there quite happily, and 2 children quite readily in the back. Makes it a much more usable proposition on an everyday basis.
It costs around £55,000 to £60,000, which some may say is a lot to spend in a recession, but it does mean more local jobs.
In terms of the here and now, the jobs that we've created over the last 6 months has been circa 150 new starters here. That's just in production, set aside any other parts of the business.
And come next week, some lucky dad will be doing the school run in style. Dawn Gerber, BBC Look East, Norfolk.
70 years ago this week, very young children started turning up at railway stations across the region. They carried their lives in a bag or a suitcase and had no idea what they were coming to or when they were likely to go home again.
They were the wartime evacuees, children from London who were sent to live with families in the countryside where it was thought to be safer away from the Luftwaffe attacks on the capital. Today, former evacuees met up in Bedford for a cup of tea and a bit of a sing-song.
Thanks for the memory, the Plaza Picture Drone. Granada's gilt and chrome.
Today was all about gratitude for their wartime home. But on this day, 70 years ago, they were grammar school boys put on a train, not knowing where they were going.
And all we had for identification was a label. The label contained just a number. That was the school number allocated to Dame Alice Owen's school. 258 pupils were getting on that train with no idea where they were going or who they were going to live with.
And then we were taken down in crocodiles down rows of streets. And a lady with a clipboard would stop and say at a house, well, you wanted 2 boys. Which would you like? And so you felt that you were being sort of sold.
Classes for nearly 260 Londoners began at Bedford Modern. Today, at the school's old site, they unveiled a plaque to say thank you.
Because we were Cockney children, mostly. And can you imagine coming out of a school in a very poor part of London and suddenly be planted into a very upmarket school, which would be a privilege to attend anyway?
Oh, I remember him. That's you, yeah.
For Conrad Lynn, school was good, but at his new home, there was something of a culture clash.
My sister and her were built in this house. She was a very house-proud lady. You couldn't touch it. You weren't ever allowed into the lounge, for example, and you had to be very careful and take your shoes and socks off wherever you went.
And joining the boys today, Joan and Winifred, who were evacuated to the Kettering High School for girls. They hadn't seen each other since then. And what are your memories of those school days?
Very, very happy.
Happy, yes.
Wonderful, wonderful school. We had a dedicated headmistress. Well, I was lucky. I went to a family with 2 boys, 2 young boys, 6 and 4. I was 16. They had always hoped to have a daughter, and I became the daughter they hoped to have, so I was very, very lucky.
Now in their 80s, these former evacuees say this reunion is their swan song, a final farewell to Bedford. Mike Cartwright, BBC Look East.
And thank you so much.
Now, there is an Evacuees Reunion Association, and if you want to find out what they do, their website is era@evacuees.org.uk.
You may have heard us talking about BBC Blast. It's a scheme to give young people a chance to make their own films with the help of the team here at Look East.
With exactly 3 years to go to the London Paralympic Games, 5 Blast reporters have been finding out if the athletes and the facilities will be ready.
This is the Equestrian Centre at Malton College, Northamptonshire, one of 12 potential training venues for the Paralympic Games. The college is hoping to attract one of the big Paralympic equestrian teams to be based here ahead of the Games. They've got the facilities to host a number of teams, but like the other Paralympic training camps in our region, landing a big fish is easier said than done. If they pull it off though, it'll be great for the college.
I think it gives us a great opportunity to expose our kids to, you know, international Olympic athletes and Paralympic athletes. And I think that could give you, it could inspire some of the younger kids to think, you know, I can do that, you know, when they see these athletes in action. So I think it could be highly inspirational for some of our youngsters.
Norwich archer Mel Clark is well on course for the Paralympic Games. She won bronze in Beijing and has just won gold and silver at the World Disabled Championships. What's more, she even set a new world record. Mel has been talking to Norfolk Blast reporter Alex Hill.
We've got a busy training schedule getting ready for 2012. We've got a lot of internationals between and hopefully get some more experience of international competition as much as we can. Obviously looking forward to competing in London with home ground and family and friends there and want to come home with a gold medal.
It'll be a home match for Mel, but many visiting archers will want to be based here ahead of the Games in one of our 12 Paralympic training camps. The University of Bedfordshire is an official venue. It's bed and breakfast meets bows and arrows.
This is where the athletes would be staying when they're undertaking some of their training routines in the nearby gymnasia or outside in case of the Paralympic archery practice and training. And certainly for the visiting teams that have been assessing our facilities, they've really been frankly knocked out.
Wheelchair basketball is perhaps the most popular Paralympic sport. Claire Strange from Milton Keynes is one of our stars. She told Blast reporter Lucy Bowers London 2012 will be the hardest yet.
The standard worldwide is really improving
which just means you have to train harder to be good enough to make this team and good enough to compete against world teams, because it's elite sport. It's not just, oh, bless those disabled people having a go.
With 3 years to go, it seems the big things are in place. Our athletes are ready and the welcome mat is poised. Debbie Groom, BBC Blast for Lucky.